Hey, how you doing, man? You good?
Doing good, man. Yep. I did a little bit of rehab this morning on the ankle, and then all set. Should be cleared in about a month.
She'll be clear. So the ankle's fine. Everything else health-wise is fine. You shouldn't have any issues with even if whatever OTAs look like and all that stuff.
Yeah, should be no issues. I guess virtual starts April 19th. I'm not sure if we're going to do anything in person, maybe similar to last year, but as far as I know, April 19th is the start date.
How do you feel about that? All that virtual stuff last year. I mean, obviously it's the world that we live in right now, but how much does that hurt the continuity? You guys had a lot of new faces, a lot of different players in and out of the lineup on the offensive line too, as well.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think what we're trying to do now is really learn the playbook. So far as from that aspect, nothing really changes, but we would like to have maybe a couple weeks to actually run it before we hit training camp. We have a lot of new faces in the building, and we would just like to get acquainted and get that ball rolling on the other side as well.
Lane, I know you love football. I know you love to play. So how do you feel about 17 games and extra game?
I'm fine with it as long as the paychecks keep coming in. Hey, we'll go out there and go
play. I got to ask you this. How surprised are you that it's 3 years after you guys win a Super Bowl and Doug Peterson's not here anymore? Carson Wentz was traded. That there's been a lot of turnover and the team is heading in what looks like a rebuild at this point.
And it's a crazy business. I remember seeing it earlier in my career with Chip, but I wish Coach Peterson the best. We had a lot of success here, and really, caught a lot of people by surprise. But where we're at now, I know we have a lot of new energy in the building. I know everybody's confident to get to work with each other, and really from the little bit I've got to talk to Coach Sirianni, I know all he preaches is competition, and really that's what drives the league and has been for forever. So we're ready to get started.
From what we've seen on the media side of Nick, like you said, he's got that energy, a lot of excitement, and just really hyped up guy. So you said, I know you've had a little bit of interaction with him. How does that play in the NFL when you got a head coach like that who's full of energy, who's got a lot of excitement?
There's lots of parts that go into it. You obviously need the energy, but having him come in, really we just want to form relationships. I feel like the tighter the team is, the better relationships, the better the bonds are, the better the football team will be. So, I guess we'll all get formally acquainted on the 19th and get it started. But yeah, man, it's a lot of new faces, and really I think everybody's just trying to form those relationships right now.
New faces, but an old one and an old important one in Jeff Stoutland, still there as the offensive line coach. What has that guy meant for you, your career, and how important is it to have Stout back as the O-line coach?
It was huge. I mean, obviously he's been a big mentor to me on and off the field. But really, I think with Stout, I think what speaks volumes about him is having guys that go down with injury and having the guys come in and play and play well. With the guys this year, you look at Mayla, you look at Driscoll, you look at Herbie. He makes everybody approach the game as if they're a starter. So when the time comes, if anything happens in the game, they can come in and play well.
A guy like Jordan Mailata, who has spent a lot of time being nurtured and working on his craft, how excited were you to see him not just play, but show he's got a ton of potential?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it all comes down to. Nothing really can simulate game experience. And I think with what you've seen with him was each game he just got better and better. And really, I mean, there's the sky's the limit for him as far as, size and ability and strength. So he's still a young buck, and his best football is definitely in front of him.
Lane, who's the toughest defensive end that you've had to face? I know there's been several, and especially in the NFC East, but who's somebody, or maybe not toughest, but the guy you get most pumped up to face?
And it really, really got to be pumped up for all of them. But it's really a good matchup. Me and DeMarcus every year. Khalil Mack, Olivier Vernon, Von Miller. I mean, those are some of the names that kind of pop out to me when I play them. But really when you're going against guys like that, they make you elevate your game to a different level. So, but yeah, man, they're all tough in this league. It just keeps getting better. Guys keep getting more athletic, and you see it.
In this business, you know that the coach gets a whole lot of blame, and the quarterbacks get a whole lot of blame. They get too much credit when things go well, too, as well. What do you see in Jalen Hurts that gets you excited about wanting to play with him, blocking for him, potential that he has, his leadership ability, all of that stuff?
Yeah, I was very impressed with how his college career went, how he handled the situation in Alabama, the adversity there on the biggest stage to the biggest programs. I think that spoke volumes of his character as far as working. Nobody really works harder than he does, and how he carries himself, man. He's a good teammate. He reaches out to everybody, and really, man, I know we only got to see a short 4 or 5 game stretch, but you obviously notice the ability he has with his legs, and that just adds a whole other element to the game and keeps the defense on their toes.
How did you feel about Carson? Because, Lane, we've heard so many different various reports, and all the time they're anonymous about different things about Carson, not necessarily everybody being in his corner. How did you personally feel about him?
He's one of my friends off the field. It was just, it was unfortunate. You could see towards the end of the season. Obviously he wasn't thrilled about the situation, but he handled it with class. And I feel like where he is now will put him in the best chance to succeed. Him and Frank really gelled well. They had a lot of success, our Super Bowl run. And I think it's, Frank's the guy that really understands Carson and can get the most out of him. So, I'm anxious to see how he'll do this year.
You mentioned that Super Bowl run. It's been a couple of years now. How often do you even just think about that, the Lombardi winning that, the parade, this fan base? I know you love playing here and everything that just went into it.
Yeah, man, you think about it, and what really I think about now is, how do you get there? And it's really – it starts now. It starts reforming those relationships and having – continuity in training camp. So when you hit the first game, you can approach it with the confidence, and really, man, it's a one game mentality every week. And I think what we did well that year is we all started the games usually started off with a 7-point lead, a 14-point lead, and it was a lot easier to win games than being behind. So coming off to a hot start in the first quarter was definitely a big influence on that. So if we can get the offense going and competing like it was what we've seen in previous forms, and we'll be all right.
Lane, I know you got a lot of football ahead of you, but on this episode, I talked to a friend of yours, good old JR, Jim Ross, and he said, yes. So he said he wants to recruit you to wrestle at some point after your career. How you feel about that?
And I'd be very excited. I got a few years left. I got 4 years on this contract. We'll see what happens. It's always, as a little kid, you always have that in your image, of being that one day. And if it's a possibility, I wouldn't mind going down that avenue. I feel like my personality fits it, and I would love to work for those guys.
What role would you be in? Would you be a villain? Would you be a hero? What would you do?
I don't know. I'd probably be the villain, knowing me. Probably be the bad guy.
Who are your guys? Who's some of your favorite? I'm sure Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I like Stone Cold. I like Goldberg. I like Kane and Undertaker, Sting, all those guys. That's when I was growing up, the Attitude era. I remember NWO with Kevin Nash and all them. So it's man, it's a form of entertainment, and I just remember it was something to look forward to.
Well, if football was a storyline like wrestling, with that report that came out a couple weeks ago, they put you in a ring with a guy like Howie. What is your relationship with him, and how did you feel about that?
My relationship with Howie's good. I mean, in this business, you have disagreements, you have stuff that happens, but I mean, as far as putting that stuff behind it, having a working relationship, everything's fine. If he'd be like Rey Mysterio. Hey, you have to watch out. He may get you in the leg lock or something, catch you off. You have to be on your toes.
All right. So everything's good there in that relationship. I mean, when I asked him about it a couple of weeks ago, he said, well, Lane signed a new contract extension, so he's still here.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, it's something that happened, 3 or 4 years ago. So.
Gotcha. Well, Lane, tell me what you're doing now. Partnering with Microban 24 to honor the most valuable protectors, the frontline sanitation workers who are out there fighting around the clock, doing everything behind the scenes that a lot of people don't want to get done, and how you got together with Laurent Duvernay-Tardif.
Yes, we teamed up with Microban 24. It eliminates bacteria for 24 hours. So, with what I do, I have a lot of guys at the gym in and out every day. And, with the COVID protocols in place, we sanitize that thing every day. And teaming up with them, I'm a valuable protector for the Eagles, and we wanted to honor people in the community. And we honored Colleen from Bensalem, Pennsylvania, who's been with Acme for 10 years. And really just a way to honor the frontline workers who are able to make life continue or to seem to go back to normalcy, and really for us to have a season. We couldn't have had a season or even continue what we're doing without people like that. So really honoring them and with a great product that eliminates bacteria for 24 hours. And really that's what it's all about.
Well, Lane, man, thank you for taking some time, spending a few minutes with me. Good work out of you and everything that you're doing out there, man. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, brother.